So, learning to be open-minded, right? It should be a given, right? I mean, you can't learn with a closed mind. You can't be intelligent with a closed mind. But and here's the thing. But here's the thing. We all to some degree live within our own closed-minded sort of like reality bubbles and how we perceive the world. Because the thing is, like, we don't actually interact with reality itself. We don't actually react to reality itself. We interact with and react to how we perceive reality. So it's all about, like, what I perceive is probably different from what you perceive, and what you perceive is probably different from what the person next to you perceives. So yeah, so we all to some degree are closed-minded, but you can't really learn with a closed mind. You need to learn to, open up and learn to be open to contradicting views. Be open to being proven wrong. Be open to being wrong. And I guess one reason that people often struggle with that is like because well, growing up and going through school and all that stuff, we learn that we have to be right in order to, and we have to accept a certain way of thinking, and we have to learn to be right, and we have to pass the test. But in reality, it's not always so straightforward. There's not always a right or wrong way to view things. It's all based on, as I mentioned before, our perceptions and how we perceive things. So I guess being intelligent is about learning to be more intelligent. Learning is all about being able to open up your perspective and being able to be more open-minded. And particularly people on conservatives, as they say, people on the conservative side of politics tend to struggle with this a lot, because conservatism is by definition being closed-minded, and it's being viewing the world through a very narrow perception, narrow field of view. It's kind of like when you're driving. Imagine driving, but then having your entire windshield blacked out, except for like a little square directly in front of you, your eyes. Like it'd be. Don't do it, by the way. It'd be a very scary thing to do and really stupid thing to do. But that's how a lot of people are, particularly people who stick to their who dig themselves into their position, as is people conservative commentators are notorious for doing. Yeah, and I guess it's getting onto another topic, but it really comes back to that it's really driven by a sense of ego, and it's a very alpha male sort of thing, being driven by ego and having to be right, and like I'm important and have to be right, whereas intelligence is all about accepting that you're not always right, and knowing that knowing your limits, and knowing that being able to accept like different points of view that even conflict, and being okay with the paradoxes that exist in our world. So yeah, open-mindedness is really the only thing we have that prevents us from being stupid and ignorant. So yeah.